Hello and welcome along to TGP2. It's season 25. It is rounds 11 and 12. It is the Circuit de Catalunya that you are graced with first. We're currently on board with Championship leader Kong Hofner with 2 minutes 30 remaining on the session. He's currently provisional pole, but only by a small margin. He's got the Renault of Alistair for company, and Smokey just that little way back. But we will be jumping over the pond later on this evening for race 2 of the night and round 12 of the TGP2 season, and that will be Singapore. It's the same races as TGP1 this season with a mixed calendar, all set to official times as well. 25% races and an 18-minute qualifying session. I'm joined by a TGP1 racer. I don't believe he's champion, and if he is, I've never heard it. Phil Bartwell.
Definitely not champion.
No, definitely not indeed. So I don't even think you've even come close, but currently on board with Kong Hofner then, as he is finishing his lap time. I think he's actually backed out of it, so maybe that's the end of his qualifying, or is he going to go again? His closest rival this session is Alistair. He has gone back out as well, so Kong is going to go for a second lap, so that's not good on his tyres, so his tyres will be a little bit worn. And we've also got other drivers on the lap time of ILR Dexter, Feely making a return to TGP2, Dom Smith currently out there as well. A lot of drivers on out laps and gearing up to do their final runs off the session. No more Luna Pop, he has left TGP2. Yellow flag in sector 1 and 3, so maybe that's for the retired car. Dom,
it's probably Feely. He's just gone P4 with that lap time.
He has gone P4 as well, a 1:18.7. Good spot there, Phil. This is where you come in handy. Your old eyes, they still work. So, just under a minute left off this session. Still watching Kong Hofner to see if he can improve on that lap time. I'm not quite sure if either driver can go much quicker than that, to be honest. He's lost it at the top of Camps. That's not good for him. That's a horrible camera angle. He's currently a 10th up as well, so there is more in the bank for this Merc. Pole position in TGP1 was a low 16, I believe, so these guys really on the pace in TGP2. Then again, it is Spain. It's a very difficult circuit. It's hard to pass as well, as Phil knows all about, and Kong's lost it all there. That's him out. So next we'll turn to his closest rival on car number 6, Alistair then, Inverness fan number 94 in that Renault. Can he get onto pole? Currently starts second. Not his strongest circuit as well. Does make a few mistakes around here, but ups through Camps that he goes. That Renault, oh, that's him out of it as well, and that is a nasty accident for him. Dexter up into third as well, but difficult place to overtake Phil, which you found on Tuesday.
It can be. I mean, the main overtaking place is obviously into turn 1, but it is a medium speed corner, so you've got to get it right. But that can lead into an overtake into turn 4 potentially, as Baz is just about to finish a lap here. Oh no, he's just messed that one up.
I think he has, yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't get it done into turn 1, you could set it up into turn 3 or 4. And then after that, the next overtaking spot is probably turn 10 and a hairpin after the second DRS straight.
Yeah, and even then, that's really not overly long.
No.
Here comes Chris though, finishes lap, goes ahead of Baza, 1:19.1. But this circuit really has the effect of Dirty Air with turn 3, Campsa as well. Dirty Air can affect you around here.
Definitely, yes. Like, you get stuck behind a car trying to match their speed, you'll just get a wash of bad dirty air, and you'll have to back off, even downshift, just to kind of maintain like speed and maintain it on the track, really, because you can just understeer clean off the circuit.
Well, this is one that real F1 teams go to for testing as well, but not quite as so. It is a first time in Spain this season, and there is your results from qualifying. Kong Hofner, an Inverness fan, only separated by 20 thousandths of a second. Smokey Dash threw his name in there as well, a 10th and a half behind, so the times really did come down. It was those two in a world of their own, about 7 tenths quicker than the third place car, but everyone improved on their last lap times to really get it down. A second separating first to 8th, which is what we like to see, Phil.
Definitely, yeah. It's a nice and close between the top 6 there. So, and if they can maintain within the DRS, Hofner might not be able to escape, but it's going to be crucial at the start here. Obviously, Hofner's got the nail off the start, but there's a long run down to turn 1, so Slipstream could be in effect on the run to turn 1.
Yeah, Hofner is been pretty much untouchable this season. He really has been in a world of his own. And if I am correct, Alistair is the only non-Danish driver to win a race this season. So Alistair breaking that trend of Danish drivers. I could be mistaken, but that was the last time I saw the stat. But yeah, it is a long run down into turn 1, and Kong has been untouchable. So I think if he gets through turn 1 in the lead of the race, I think that will be him gone. Emirates Fan is quick round here, but does make a few mistakes, which I think could cause havoc. But I think really the thing to watch out for here is a safety car or a VSC. But the lights are now coming on. 5 red lights in Singapore. It's a Mark Renault front row. Kong versus Inverness Fan, and it is lights out, and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. It is a good start from Alistair, who takes the lead from Kong already on the round down to turn 1. He's got to watch out for the Racing Point and the Haas of Smokey in there as well, but it is a Renault leading into turn 1. Kong may lose it from Smokey as well, but just holding on as a Renault off and a Red Bull in the background. But Alistair swooping through turn 3 in the lead from Kong, from Smokey, from Jordan. Dexter losing a few positions off the start, so he will not be happy with that. A few cars swobbling off into the background. I do believe that is Wace and Chris Johnson. Indeed it is, as Wace has gone a bit wide there. Chris make a bit of contact onto the grass. It's all a bit mental off into the background, but Chris Johnson's managed to defend him. That was an Alfa Romeo of Mike Noon. A very aggressive driver, as me and Phil know truly about. A very aggressive driver from Mike. Dom has actually found his way past as well, and into P7. Yellow flag in sector 2, possibly for Baza, who's had a maid of a start along with Jacko. They're down at the back, but a very good start, Phil. Clean-ish from the drivers.
Clean-ish, yeah. There's a bit of a bumping and barring into turn 1, which I think Jacko got on the bad end of, and Baza went off at turn 5. Don't know if he got collected. I think he did. There was a bit of a melee in the midfield, and there's a bit more here with 2 Ferraris involved. One of the Ferraris has gone off. I can't see who that is though.
It is Marco. So Sarton Penguin then is up into P13 and with the pack. But this circuit, you want to run downforce, but you don't want to run too much. And Smokey's actually finding his way past Kong, so Kong may be running a bit more downforce than these guys. He's also got Jordan coming at him. He's probably got nothing on that car, but the speed of that, Smokey and Jordan. Smokey squeezing him out. Smokey having to take the Haas line, which really was the Haas line in the Real Grand Prix with Roman Grosjean and Magnussen. But Kong really losing out here, and this is giving Alistair the breathing room he needs at the minute. But Smokey a bit naughty there, Phil.
Yeah, it was a Roman Grosjean line, definitely, but he's got away with it, and Hoffner's got on the bad end of it. There are 3 pit stops, Marco, Jacko and Baza, so all probably damage, I presume. Either or Marco might have just done an early pit stop, because he's out much quicker. He's on the soft tyres though, so I don't think that'll go to the end.
Definitely not.
Of the race there. But yeah, Hoffner, bad end of the stick there. He's got to try and work his way through the field. He might need some strategy to work in come into play here.
Well, already using all of his battery as well, which is something I've noticed from him this season. It's quite aggressive on laps 1 to 5, and really that's playing havoc to him here at the minute, because everyone else is getting rough with him too, and he's really losing out. He's alright if he's overtaking a car, he gets his elbows out, but when he's got the whole field behind him, he's just a bit outnumbered and losing positions hand over fist. Smokey is starting to close that gap in on Alistair, so not what Alistair would have wanted, taking the lead of the Grand Prix, but setting the fastest lap again. But this circuit, Phil, you want to run downforce, but you don't want to run too much, because there is a very long straight, and DRS, even when you are running high downforce, isn't that effective, as we see Bossman Sean on Michael. I'll get your response to that in a second. Here goes Bossman Sean then. Number 1 Irishman in TGP. Sorry, Roy. Bossman Sean side by side with Michael Kenny. Or Angel versus Death. He's also got Feely for company as well. But yeah, you don't want to run too much downforce here.
There's a bit of a compromise. You can run high downforce if you think you can get away with it. I'm thinking like Sebastian Vettel, who ran virtually qualifying setups and a bit more downforce, because he knew he could blitz it from lap 1 and get away from the field. So you can do it, and it definitely pays off in the twistier sections, but that straight does compromise you a lot. And the power of DRS, yeah, it isn't that effective, but if you run a high downforce, then you're going to feel it with people in your DRS so behind you.
Indeed you will. If people are in the ERS or the slipstream, you will see that effect. Smokey really closing up now to the back of Alistair, just a little bit more hours as well than Alistair. So Smokey having the pace in the early stages of this Grand Prix. We've seen it a lot from him this season when he has the pace, and Kong is now calling it quits on those tyres. Has had enough of being bullied around and is coming in, and here comes Smokey now on Alistair. Alistair not even going to go defensive. He's given Smokey the inside line. I think Alistair running a bit too much downforce. He's seen that coming, but he will try and find his way back past these two. Have come to blows a couple times this season, whether they've been racing incidents or driver faults, but those two definitely, they don't like being overtaken, these two, so they'll hopefully try and we'll hopefully see a good battle there. Michael Kenny maybe, I think, has found his way past Joe Say. I'm not too sure. I think Joe might have a bit of damage because he's quite slow through turn 3, but yellow flag instead of one, and it's a Ferrari. And it's Sir Tom Penguin.
Sir Tom Penguin, yes.
Hitting that curb, and that curb is deadly at turn 2.
Indeed it is. I was just watching Kong Hoffner come out the pits there. Thought he might have got into, come out behind Red Bull Kim, but he was comfortably ahead and didn't get caught up in Sir Tom Penguin's foray into turn 2. So he's got a nice clear track now. He needs to make this count for his strategy to work. These medium tyres will go to the end, but he will have to do a little bit of tyre management, I would say. At full race pace, unlike us with the safety car yesterday in TGP1, but he's got a lot of work to do. Can he make this count?
Well, he does indeed. And the mediums, like you said, will go to the end, but he will have to manage those. We've currently got Wace on the back of Mike, and we've got Jordan finding his way past Alistair because Alistair is coming in, so he is covering that undercut from Kong. Don't speed into the pit lane, and he doesn't, so we can go back to Wace versus Mike. This is the battle for 4th at the minute. Racing Point versus Alpha. Mike, he thought about going defensive. He tried to give Waze the cheeky... Oh, that's a horrible helmet there from Waze. Got the pumpkin thing. But Waze finding his way past Mike Noon. But Mike is not going to give this one up easy, Phil.
He's not, no. Speaking of helmets, Mike's isn't brilliant either. But Mike is not giving this up in typical Mike Noon fashion. He'll never give anything up. He's a very aggressive driver. But a nice clean overtake there by Waze into turn 1.
Was indeed dropping down from TGB1 Waste, but here comes Mike. Now I wouldn't be surprised if he went full send at this corner, Mike Noon. Indeed he has, side by side. You don't want to go side by side through there. The car doesn't like it when it's just you, never mind 2 cars trying to fit through there. But it'd be interesting to see what the front runners do, to see if they respond to Kong, because Alistair responded to him. It'd be interesting to see if Smokey and Jordan do as well. But Mike then overtaken by Waze.
So Alistair just went wide going into turn 7 and 8 there, which lost him a bit of time, went onto the gravel. He did come out ahead of Hoffner by about a second and a half, but that's definitely lost him a good half a second running into the gravel there.
It has indeed. On the outlaps you need to be pretty much pitch perfect. Waste has come in, so that's going to release Mike. Dexter has responded, but the top 2 staying out, so they're wanting the fresher tyres, which around a circuit like Spain where there is a bit of tyre wear maybe isn't the worst thing.
Not necessarily, no. It depends how well they can keep the softs working, because obviously if you can, they are the better tyre, you can get a better lap time out of them, so it depends. Dom Smith is also in the pits. There's a host of cars in the pits as well. Chris Johnson's joined them as well.
Thing to note here is Joe has found his way past Michael. That's not what I was going to say, but Alistair is now approaching a bit of traffic, which might close Dexter and Kong up to him and maybe help Jordan and Smokey at the minute, but it is Joe on Michael Kenny. Being in TGP for what feels like forever, these two. I remember racing Michael Kenny on F1 2014, my first ever TGP season on that horrible game by Codemasters. I don't want to see that come back anytime soon.
Don't think any of us do. You're only 5 years old then as well. You've aged so much.
And you were only 62. Here we go then. Alistair closing up to the back of Brother Nang, and you can see the effect of the dirty air. The Renault losing the rear end there. Campsa, you can feel the rear go light at Campsa. Never mind when you've got a car disturbing all the air coming at you. So this is the worst part to catch Smokey a car. Erlenang is getting twitchy, and Smokey has come in. He's got a car in front of him. I do believe that is Sir Tom. So Jordan staying out. So Sauce will start to go, but it'll be interesting to see what Alistair comes out. Compared to Smokey, he's been massively held up here by Erlenang on the hards. Erlenang has called it a day on those hards, which is a bit early. But this will give Alistair DRS, and Smokey now currently driving down the pit exit. It's going to be close. Alistair's got the DRS, and he is behind Smokey, so this traffic and going wide definitely has hampered him, but Smokey has Joe ahead of him, and Joe never makes overtaking easy. It doesn't matter if he's battling for position or not. Never mind, Joe has gone wide, and that allows Smokey straight past, so Alistair will not like seeing that. Dom has found his way past Feely, I believe. Oh no, that was Erlen coming into the pits and making everyone find a position, but here comes Alistair on Michael Kenny. The inside of the Williams, he's getting his elbows out and finding his way past the Williams. I'm not sure Michael would have liked to see my younger sibling finding a way past. He doesn't like me overtaking. Never mind another part of me. So here we go then. Can he find his way past Joe? He's got to find his way past quickly if he wants to think about Smokey. Kong, can he find his way past Michael? Indeed he can, but this is what the good drivers are good at, Phil.
Indeed, yeah, picking their way through I'd say traffic, but they are legitimately fighting for positions. I mean, yes, they haven't pitted, but you know, they are allowed to defend their position if they choose so. So they've got to pick their way through very cautiously as well, because they don't want to be caught up in any incidents that might slow them down. So Williams dives off in the pits there in the background.
There we go then, Alistair pulling to the right hand side on Joe, even with the DRS, so you can see the downforce. And here comes, is that Jordan? It is Jordan, so even Jordan's come out ahead of Alistair, so Alistair the real proper big loser in all these pit stops, and Jordan has the freshest tyre out of all of these, but he has now cleared the traffic and can now set sights on the cars in front. The sportsman Sean and Michael Kenny have called it a day on those tyres and are now exiting the pit lane, but Kong will need to find his way past Joe quickly, especially with Dexter breathing down on him, because Dexter has been quick this season. But it'd be interesting to see when he finds his way past the Toro Rosso. You can see Alistair not rushing his way past Joe. He was in the final sector and just waited for the DRS, waited for the more sensible option, which is something we've seen a lot of him. This is his third season in TGP2 and definitely learning the racecraft, and went to pass, and Kong getting very close to the back of Joe. So definitely not what he planned there. You can see the rear was getting a bit light, and Dexter now on the back of these guys. Phil, I think, is having flashbacks.
Yeah, let's look over there, shall we? I was just having a look there. Jordan he was having a very nice outlap. He just made a little mistake coming into turn 12 there, which lost him about a tenth, but he's definitely in a very good position. I think Jordan could have the pace to catch Smokey Jace. He just needs to catch up to him within half a second, and he'll be within the DRS range, which will definitely help bring that gap forward even more. So Jordan in a good place. He just needs to keep it smooth, tidy, and he might be within a chance of winning this race.
He might indeed, as you were just watching Kong find his way past Joe. Now Dexter's going to find his way past quite easily, I think, on Joe, so Kong will not like to see that. But Jordan was lacking the pace of the early parts of the season, definitely finding his feet now, and hopefully getting better as well. Had some stuff outside of TGP, so wishing him a full recovery and a speedy one, if he isn't fully recovered, of course. But Joe fighting Dexter there didn't make it easy at all, but he is yet to make a pit stop, as you can see there on the graphic on the left hand side. Still waiting for Kim and Joe to make their final stops. Not a good exit there from Joe, but that front wing definitely hampering him. Alistair just dropping back a bit from the cars in front, so not what he would have wanted. Not got the pace so far on those mediums, and has Kong, the championship leader, behind him. This was his perfect chance. Smokey is taking full control of this Grand Prix at the minute, currently second in the championship ahead of Alistair, but behind Kong, so he's outscoring both of these guys at the minute. But Jordan still 1.5 seconds behind, and none of these guys I don't believe have penalties, which is very good to see. But here comes Mike on Joe, two people who have really fallen from grace. Fell down in TGP2, which isn't great for them.
It's up, but Mike's having a decent race here, because he started, I think, about 14th, I think it was. He's made his way up to 6th place now, so it's a solid effort from Mike. Whilst we were going through there, I did see Don Smith lose it at turn 2 and lose his part of his front wing. I do believe he's in the pits. Yes, he is in the pits to change. That's a disaster for Don Smith there. Not a good day for the Manxman. Hopefully he'll have a better result in race 2 tonight at Singapore, which he'll be probably looking forward to very quickly now.
I think the surprise so far is no safety car.
Very true. Yes.
I think that's because every race we've had since they fixed the update, we've had at least a safety car or a VSC. So these guys have, would you say, gone it lucky in not getting one?
I mean, a little bit, yeah, but like there was no major spins in the first lap compared to like what there has been in TGP1. There was like people running wide and running off, but nobody really spun it. But in TGP1, I think the last 4 races on the first lap, there's been a safety car, virtual safety car. So the TGP2 boys are kind of showing the TGP1 boys how to do it on opening laps here.
Indeed they are, and the thing to note, Alison are 4 seconds behind Jordan, so really lacking that race pace, but has double the years of Kong, who are starting to reel him in just a tad. So Alistair, I think, needs to pick up that pace just a bit more. Jordan has closed in 2/10 on Smokey J's, but again, not great from Jordan. But this is what I was saying earlier. Smokey, when he's in the clean air, he's a joy to watch. He's clean. You know, his lines are absolutely fantastic. He doesn't make mistakes. But when he's in traffic and has to make the moves, that's when we see him start to panic and struggle and make the errors. So, but at the minute, in control of this Grand Prix. He's got Jordan catching him just a tad though. He'll need to keep an eye on that one. Dexter again, still behind Kong, but I think running a bit more downforce than, because as soon as it comes to the straights, he is nowhere. But not a good race for the McLarens, Phil. Down in P15 and 16 are the Ferraris.
No, definitely. McLaren's having a disaster race, and the Ferraris, both teams to forget this race and move on to Singapore very quickly. Red Bull Kim's running off the circuit. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's got a problem. He's well off the circuit though, so staying out the way, which is a good thing. But yeah, Jordan.
Here comes Dexter. Actually, I'm going to have to interrupt you now. He's finally got the run on Kong. Up the inside into turn 1 and makes the move on the championship leader. Kim's actually been disqualified, but Dexter has found his way up into P4, but Kong isn't going to let that one go. But you just see the front end washing away with the dirty air. You see Alsa still in the distance, but Dexter looking like he means business. He's keeping up with these guys and he's making moves on the championship leader, which is ballsy. And Dexter up into P4.
Yeah, and Jordan is within a second now, coming into Campster, which is now the activation for the DRS. So he'll get a bit of DRS here. It's a nice run onto the straight. It won't make an overtake here, but it'll definitely help gain him an extra 10, maybe even 2 tenths there. So he just needs to keep it clean. Could potentially set him up into turn 1 here. So he just needs a good clean run through this last sector. He's closing in now, Jordan. He's got his prey in his sights.
I think the key thing to notice as well is Jordan has no errors, where Smokey has 94. So if you do dip under 10%, you do lose power. It doesn't matter what battery mode you're in, you will lose the power. So that's going to affect Jordan. He might have the slipstream and or the DRS, but if you don't have a battery, it's not great.
Yeah, sorry, this is where Jordan would need to be clever here. Now he's within DRS, he's done most of the hard work here. If you could just hang with the DRS and turn his errs off effectively down the straight, so he'll gain free lap time just by DRS and slipstream. So this is what you need to do now. It's basically a setup game.
It is indeed. It'll be interesting to see if we do see a safety car or VSC. We did have Sir Tom Penguin retire from the session, but also then falling into the clutches of Dexter, now 6.4, so just not having the pace on the medium compound tyre is that Renault, which is a bit weird because the tyres do match the livery. But Jordan then losing a bit through Campsa, but it's going to gain it all back, like you said, with the DRS.
Indeed. I'm just looking further down. We've got Bazza and Joe going into turn 3 here. Bazza's closed in on Joe on the soft tyre and Bazza on the hard tyre, so 2 completely different ends of the spectrum, but Bazza seems to have the better pace here. Obviously recovering from his lap 1 excursion. Only not too far away from point. Oh, I haven't said Joe is 10 seconds away from Erland, so it was quite a distance. He would need a safety car to help him out there, but it was looking a bit dicey going into turn 1 there.
Indeed it is, but Bazza losing a bit of a rear there. I don't know if it was a bit of lag, but there's lost a bit of time to Joe, but is picking up the DRS as well. We still have Kong on the back of Dexter, who now has DRS on the back of the Renault, so this is the fight for the podium. 3rd, 4th and 5th. You've got 3rd in the championship, you have 6th in the championship, and you have the championship leader down in 5th on 177 points. Some 50 odd points clear of the next car of Smokey, who's currently winning this Grand Prix, so he is to take that point gap down. But it'd be interesting to see if these guys can find a way past the Renault, who was leading into turn 1 but lost the lead to Smokey, and then just hasn't had the pace in the second stint of this Grand Prix. Maybe just wanting to take it home, not wanting to make the mistakes, because he knows he is not the most comfortable driver around this circuit. It's be interesting to see if any of them find a way past the Renault. Kong has lost a bit of ground to Dexter, but Dexter's almost rear-ended the back of the Renault. That was close. That was close to taking a front wing off the Red Bull, and close to wiping a podium away for the Renault there. But Jordan not really gaining on Smokey like I thought he would, but he is starting to save that battery though.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do. He's just losing. He's lost a couple of tenths over the past couple of laps. He just needs to stay within DRS to help get the battery back. He's got a couple laps to do it. He just needs enough to attack, really. But so far, he's staying there. He's within half a second now. He's definitely closing in. As Dexter must be running low downforce. He gained a lot down that straight. It's on Alistair there.
Indeed he is, and Alistair has a lot over again, double the errs off the Red Bull, and that is one thing with Alistair. He is starting to learn when to use stuff like that, so it is keeping him ahead at the minute. He knows he doesn't need a maximum power around here. He just knows he needs the power on the straight if he is running the higher downforce. But Jordan within half a second of Smokey's. This is definitely the closest he's been at the minute. Yellow flag sector 2 and 3, not quite sure what that's for, but Jordan out right up the back. Was it a McLaren? Possibly. Not the greatest. Yeah, picking up the a track wandering warning, shall we say. But there's the Ferrari then of Marco. He shall ghost to get out of the way of these guys, but even when they do ghost, it is still off-putting. It's not the greatest system that Cody's have implemented, but I think he is still, again, a bit too far back, just leaving it in forward that bit too long. But he has got the run on Smokey here. He is gaining and gaining. This could be the moment on the penultimate lap. Smokey thought about going back onto the racing line and thought about going defensive. Thought better off it, but Jordan definitely up close now as Dexter now has found his way past the Renault. Alistair punted out off the podium position, so he'll be looking to try and find his way back past that Red Bull. But the top two side by side of Smokey and Jordan. Dom is retired, but side by side, the Haas versus the Renault. Two different nations, two different constructors. Smokey just holding on for now. He's desperate for another race win to close that gap onto Hofner, because it would be some chunk of points he would gain on Hofner and really close that 50 odd points gap down.
It is. This has turned out to be an excellent end to this race. You've got the battle for first and the battle for the final podium spot, because Alistair hasn't given this up. He's right on the tail of Dexter here, and hopefully saving that ERS might come in handy for the last part lap. But Hofner's there as well, ready to pounce on any, so it's going to be an exciting last lap here.
Kong is a very good driver as well, so Alistair does need to keep checking his mirrors, but he will be getting the DRS as well, which will help him defend from that Merc. But Jordan then, he's going to have the DRS again, but he is going to dip into the under 10% margin, which isn't great for power. You can see he's not really making the gains this time around into turn 1, so not good for him. But Alistair now has the DRS on Dexter. Can he find his way back onto the podium? He's also got Kong gaining on him as well, so that Merc running low downforce too. Dexter waving a bit, but none of them really close enough to make a move as we head on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. 17 laps of Catalunya. Jordan then just not close enough yet to Smokey, but these guys fighting for the final podium. 3 different constructors. If only F1 was this exciting in real life. A Renault fighting for a podium of the days. As long as they're not ahead of McLaren. Jordan is still there, indeed, 7 tenths, but I don't think he is going to gain enough at the minute. Alistair has dropped back a bit, has got Kong now in his diffuser.
I think Alistair switched from attack to defend now. Dexter seems to have gotten away, so Alistair needs to just defend going into this turn, which Hoffman doesn't really go for an attack there, so just needs to keep it clean now, and I think this could be the finishing result.
It could well be, as we're currently watching Chopper Cam on Smokey. rounding the final corner has been absolutely untouchable since he overtook Alistair for the lead of the Grand Prix and wins in Spain. It's Jordan into second place, so he'll be very happy with that. Dexter making the move on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix to move on to that podium. Alistair will hold on to fourth ahead of Kong, who will be massively disappointed with that one. Mike will come home an impressive sixth, I think his best result of the season. Wace in seventh. Bossman Sean may be disappointed with eighth. Oh, I don't know if he'll be up to seventh because Wace had a penalty. So Brandon Feely then, he'll come home in ninth on his return to TGP. Chris Johnson will be disappointed. He was in the title fight last year, so disappointed to be down in 10th. Early 9 with new internet actually puts Chris Johnson out of the points and into P10. It will be Joe coming home in 12th, and then Baza and Michael are the last of the running cars. But a really thrilling Spanish Grand Prix, Phil.
It was a great entertainment there, with a good battle for the lead between the top 5 in the opening stages of the race. The pit stops shook it up a bit. Smokey J's brilliant drive. Jordan pushed him all the way, and we had a nice fight for third between Dexter, Alistair and Hoffner. Good entertaining race. As solid effort from the TGP2 boys here.
Fantastic racing from them all, very clean as well. A bit of argy-bargy at the start, but they definitely made up for that with some fantastic racing in the end. And there is the podium. It's Smokey. He'll be delighted to return to the top step. Jordan will be happy to finish second and Dexter third, so a Danish 1-3. As you see there on the podium, all the flags, 2 nationalities on the podium at 3 drivers. And I will hand over to Phil for the rundown.
So the results here at the Catalan TGP Grand Prix here. Smokey J is the winner, Jordan second and the fastest lap, so he will get the extra point for that. Dexter comes home in third, 9 seconds off. Alistair fourth, Kong Hoffner in fifth. That's the championship leader. Good solid points there. Mike Noonan a good drive up to 6th place. Bossman Sean 7th, Wace in 8th, Feely in 9th, and Ron Ratley point from top 10. Erland, Chris Johnson comes home 11th, Joel Sayer 12th, Basil 13th, Angels versus Death 14th, Jacko 15th. He pretty much retires from that. So only 14 finishes there.
It was quite scrappy down at the back, but very guys at the front. 2 messages in the chat so far. Corey counting the title fight for TGP1 and I believe the championship leader. I'm in that league, I should know. Anyway, go Jacko go from him, so supporting Jacko and Veloci. Ginger Andy, as you may have seen on the Formula 1 YouTube channel, doing the head-to-heads, the ginger guy with a beard. Disappointing day for the Viking. I think we all saw that coming, to be honest. Ginger Andy, a very die-hard fan of Red Bull Kim. Met him in Abu Dhabi.
Ginger Andy also the cause of the biggest train known in TGP1 history last night in Singapore.
Yeah, if you haven't watched TGP1, go watch it. Not yet though. Finish watching this and then go watch TGP1. Because I got a double podium, so go do that. Go watch that. Isn't that right, Phil?
Some Scottish person got a double podium.
Damn right. I got the game gave me a crappy penalty as well, so I didn't even get to see me on the podium. I had to Carlos Sainz it. I got the trophy and put my whole team on the podium.
So we're about to do Singapore now. This is a test mentally, though, more than anything, because this circuit, the street circuit, is just very tough. Concentration. It's a long lap as well, and will be the longest race. Probably a good half an hour if there's a safety car. So
genuinely, the drivers say it's the hardest circuit to do. You know, obviously with the heat, the length of it, and like the tiredness. See, when we do it in league racing, it's you genuinely come out of it sweating, as if Codemasters have somehow managed to implement heat coming out of the TV. But like you do like France or Monaco or Abu Dhabi, like obviously you've got like the normal, you know, like the normal sweat thing, you know, if you're really concentrating. But you come out of Singapore cooking. I had to go for a shower. I was up front. None of this. Like.
Singapore's just mentally draining. You have to keep your concentration up at all times, especially if you're in a battle, especially if you're in a Ginger Andy train, because that thing's not moving.
And you've got Jack Pearson in it, so you constantly have to check your mirrors.
He did get points though yesterday, his first points of the season.
I mean, it's took him long enough. I mean,
you only say that because he's your teammate.
I know. To be fair, his 4 points are going to go a long way to securing 5th in the championship, so fair play to him. But yeah, even qualifying here is hard to do. One mistake, whole lap's gone.
Indeed, I mean, here, running into turn 1, you got turn 2 immediately after. You run a little bit wide, it invalidates your lap, and that's it. You have pretty much 2 minutes to either go again, save all your fuel in airs, or just pit again.
Yeah, you have to leave the pit lane within 2 minutes of 2 minutes of the time remaining to complete a lap time.
There's a lot of cars heading now as they have done their setups. Both the Ferraris in sync.
I'm not quite sure if it's a wet race, but I'll check the chat to see if anyone's put it in the chat.
Well, that would be interesting. That would be a half hour race.
Especially if it's full wet. I'll check the chat.
Didn't we have a full wet race around here in TGB1 once?
I think we did. Yeah, I can't remember what season it was. But yeah, we definitely did.
And I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, the safety car had to come out because it was monsoon conditions. There was nobody
I think so, yeah.
The safety car just came out, yeah.
Yeah, it just randomly came out. I can't remember what lap it was, but yeah.
So as the drivers head round the circuit on their out laps here, warming up the tyres, warming up the brakes. Key here, I think, what I would do, which is what I did last night, is get a banker in. So just make sure you hit all the apexes, don't cut a corner, just get a nice solid banker in, and you've got 2 attempts if you've got the soft tyres to do so, to improve on that. And unfortunately I didn't do that yesterday. My quickest lap was my first lap, unfortunately.
Yeah, so was mine. First lap, it was an okay, that wasn't great. And then second lap I was I think avoided death by a reversing Mercedes about 100 million miles an hour coming out of the grandstand bit, and then the last lap I invalidated it. So
you leave that Mercedes alone, it has a legendary driver in it.
Yeah, well, just time to check his mirrors every now and then. Bossman Sean though, definitely getting up close to the Renault there. He's backed off now though. We'll go with Bossman Sean, why not? Never know what to talk about in these qualifying sessions because I don't do the full qualifying session for the first race, so obviously I go live with about 5 minutes to go.
Indeed, I know when we go live we have to watch the second qualifying session. But yeah. It could give us an idea of maybe what sort of setups are in, how people are taking different lines into different corners. So it can be interesting to watch.
Currently on with Bossman Sean. I think he just avoided that well. I think he hit it on the spectator cam, but I don't think he hit it. Very clean lap for him so far though, apart from that wee front right lockup. But this track, Phil, has a lot of not swooping corners, but corners where the exit comes at you quite quickly, so you need to be patient on getting on the power.
Indeed, yes. I mean, most of the corners are classic street racing, 90 right and 90 left, but like the Anderson Bridge here is a bit of a tight, twisty, complex section. You can't.
Williams fell foul to it in TGB1 as well.
Indeed, you've got to get your braking right coming off of the bridge there, going to the hairpin. You miss time your braking, you're in a world of trouble.
Well, this is the circuit where Alistair did pick up his first TGB2 win, where I picked up my first TGB1 win. And he overtook Goings on that race and never looked back, and won it by 10 plus seconds in the end, I believe, and with some drive from him, so he'll be hoping to try that again. I think he's currently abandoned his lap. He has indeed. You can just see him pulling into the pit lanes ahead of Bossman Sean, so he will be the next car to come across the line. It is provisional pole, the 137.5, so not an overly quick lap time, but could be competitive in the midfield.
It could be, but at the moment it is the quickest.
Smokey's Joe's picked up a penalty for a collision with Smokey.
Smokey did that lap time on hard tyres as well. Interesting choice there. I don't know if that's just a banker, as I said, but Stavanger on the hard tyres around here. It could be tactical as well. Tyre wear can be really bad around here.
Especially if there's a safety car could jump onto the mediums.
Yeah, indeed, yes, that's a good point.
You just wouldn't have to go into the softs, could just jump straight onto the mediums.
So far, only 7 drivers have set a lap time. Smoking Jays is the least quickest, let's say, of them. Again, on the harder tyre, though. Is he holding up the racing point now, or is the racing point not on? No, just Jordan. Sorry, I don't think Jordan's on the lap. Jordan also on the hard tyre, so again, could be tactical here. A couple of people on alternate strategies. I think, see a Red Bull on medium tyres, which I believe is Baza. Yes, so. Some alternate strategies there. So 7 people completed the lap times. Boxman Sean the quickest. Marco Feely's now just jumped quicker there on a 1:37.4.
I believe we have Sir Tom Penguin on a lap time as well, and it is a dry race I'm hearing. But doing on the mediums is very risky, especially with the chances of safety cars.
It is, yes. However, the TGV2 boys have already proved that they can do a lap without drawing out a safety car. So a gamble could be worth paying off if going on the mediums, if it does work, if you do not get that safety car.
Currently watching Sir Tom Penguin then. Hasn't set a lap time yet. I believe this is his second run of the session. Corey Jacko for pole position. I think even that is a bit of a far fetch for Jacko, I'm afraid to say.
So Tom Penguin just a bit of oversteer coming out of the left-hander going into under the grandstand. Lost a bit of his front wing, as you can see. It's just sent him well wide in that corner there.
Yeah, 1:47.9, definitely not the quickest lap time from him. Alistair has headed back out there on the soft, so we'll go with him for lap time. He pushed Kong all the way to the wire in qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see if he can put that Renault anywhere near pole position again. Won here last season, of course. Qualified, I think it was 3rd. But here we go then, car number 6, definitely wanting to improve on P11. Abandoned his first lap, not quite sure why. Maybe possibly something to do with wing damage. But this circuit, with any other street circuit, is risk reward.
Absolutely, that was a nice clean sector 1 there, it looked like, for Alistair. Very committed as well. So far so good on this lap, as we now have 10 drivers completed a lap time now.
He's absolutely given that Renault absolutely everything. That thing is looking like it's on rails. He's got Jack Cray in the chat as well, going Alison and Jordan. So good to see him tuning in. Normally he is beside me, but opted to sit out this week, so I opted for the wonderful Phil Barswell, who can impart us with all his wisdom over the decades.
I knew that was coming.
I do love you, Phil. Unconditionally, though. But also then he's got a Ferrari currently sitting on the apex. Not quite sure who that is. I'm not quite sure if he got in the way or not, but he was sitting on the apex when Alistair certainly arrived, or was arriving, but the cinematics didn't quite show it, so maybe I might see Alistair's point of view later on when he saves his clip. But he's definitely finishing this lap time and has been very committed throughout this whole lap, and very committed through the final corner. And it is Paul, the 1:36.5, 9/10 quicker than the next car off his teammate Feely. So nice new teammate for Alistair as well. But a good lap time from him, and whether that Ferrari got in the way or not, that was a quick lap.
It was. I mean, Ferrari sitting on the apex definitely won't help, but even if it's not in your way, just that being there, it can be just off-putting. You sometimes hesitate on the throttle, you might dab the brake, thinking what on earth are they going to do, so definitely off-putting, but good solid lap time from Alistair there.
Good lap time indeed. I believe Jacko's coming up to finish a lap. Indeed he is. Here comes Jacko then. Goes P8 with a 1:38.42 tenths off his teammate, and the McLarens will definitely be looking for a better race this time out, and Ferrari as well.
Definitely, especially Don Smith. I think he Damon Hills it going onto in the pit wall coming out of the last corner there. Not a good start of the races here for Don. him and Jacko will be wanting a much better result here in Singapore.
Definitely good to see TGP1 drivers as well checking in on the stream to watch TGP2. We've got currently Corey, Andy and Jack. Well, those are the ones that I know of because they have commented on the stream. But we'll go with Kong Hoffner then, who is about to start at lap time. And I wouldn't be surprised, Phil, if he goes pole again.
Is this his first lap out? Or
I believe so, yeah.
He's pushed the ball out here. It's like less than half the session to go, or less than 8 minutes to go. So he's got time to do this and one more, but he's got to get a move on here.
Indeed he does. 7 minutes remaining in this session. Even when he completes his lap time, if he wants to get another one in, he's going to have to take some life out of those softs to get it back. I don't believe we'll see Alistair heading back out until the very last minutes, and that should be along with Chris Johnson as well. There's no point really going out now because you're not really going to get a second lap in.
No, you're not. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 there. I didn't quite see who that was.
I believe it was a Red Bull backing off. I've got it on the minimap. Oh, I felt, did you know you could do that? You can turn the minimap on.
Yeah, I've got the minimap up, yes.
I was about to say, you're old, so you don't know.
I was just trying to flick it through, I just never caught onto it quickly enough.
Well, there we go. So, I believe Kong has gone purple in that middle sector, where there currently is a Ferrari stop. So Kong looking pretty quick. He's got the Alpha of Mike ahead of him, so not great there. Didn't block him, but again, like you said, definitely off-putting. There we go, Kong then. If you can get these corners are very tricky. You don't want the rear to step out, and Kong has managed to get that done well. I wonder if he'll take it in 6th or 7th. He takes it in 5th. Fair play to him just to get that extra turn in. And goes...
Oh,
wow. Almost a second quicker than Alistair. Joe then, who goes quite well at Singapore, up into 3rd. I missed that, 136.
That's a good effort from Joe there, yeah.
That is as well. He was quick in Canada. And controversially put Alistair in the wall. He says racing incident, but you don't turn right on a left-hander. And as quick in Singapore, he's always been quick at Singapore though.
Strange how some circuits just bring out the best in some people. So obviously Joe's got a kind of a knack for complex street. Canada's not really a street circuit, but it technically is. Street circuit seems to be Joe's style here.
Jean then in as well, so another TGP1 driver in the stream. Alistair's pretty much matching the times he did when practicing, and Jean is surprised by that lap by Kong. I think all of us are, to be honest. That is mega.
It is. It's a solid lap there. I think that would have put Kong about 6th or 7th in TGP1.
That would have, yeah. That is blistering lap time from the championship leader. I don't have the updated points, but I'm sure I could find a way to get them.
Baz, I think, just moved up into 8th there with that lap time. He's just got 5 minutes. If he wants to do another lap, he has to get a move on.
He is indeed. He might just abandon this one. Yep, called it quite late, but definitely abandoning there. Mike Nunes come across the line with a 137.2 to put him at P5. So, a variety, I don't know, I can't say that word, but same thing.
Variety?
That's the one. Of different lap times from everyone. 36s, 35s, 38s, 39s, and a 47, but I'm sure Sir Penguin will be improving on that one.
I mean, this circuit, the layout and how long it is now, how slow it is as well as an average speed, like, you will get big gaps around here, so don't be surprised if there are like 2 to 3 second gaps between drivers. If you nail it, and you can gain up to a second in a lap. That's how effective a good lap can be around this circuit.
4 minutes then currently remaining, and I think 9/10 is a bit much to ask for the top, for 2nd and 3rd to really push Kong. I don't think Alistair will be pushing him just as hard in this qualifying session. I think if he improves, I don't think he'll be anywhere near that lap time.
So Mike Noon taking alternative lines as he rapidly tries to get back to the pits to get some new tyres. He's cutting every corner. It's quite
I think
amusing.
Jacko is going to be the next car on a lap. Indeed, so we'll go with Jacko then for this lap. He'll be wanting to prove on P12, so he'll be, I believe, the next car to cross the line, and he's just starting his lap time. There's a lot of cars still in the pits or will start to come out soon, but the McLarens will be wanting a better race this time around.
So Tom Penguin, I think, got it completely wrong on the Anderson Bridge there.
Not good for him at all, and Jacko's currently invalidated that lap time, so that ruins his attempt. The top two have headed out. Smokey's put himself into third, and he's put it into the wall as well.
That's his qualifying done.
That is him finished, and he's got Dom coming as well, who was
Dom's on an
out lap, so Dom got quite lucky there. Dom got lucky he was on the out lap, so Smokey, that's the end of his qualifying session as well, so he will not be improving. So we have Kong currently coming under the Anderson Bridge. Then he is then followed by the Renault of Alistair. Joe starting his last lap now with 2 minutes 15 on the clock. Can he get that Toro Rosso anywhere closer to the front row? He'd definitely be trying, obviously.
Another driver who needs to improve desperately on this lap is Jordan, down in 15th. Second place in Catalonia, but he seems to be struggling here.
Currently got the hards, he's got the softs now fitted, so he'll be heading back out, so I can remove that tyre graphic. Everyone on the soft compound off tyre, which is no surprise really. It'll be interesting to see where Joe can put that Toro Rosso. A lot of understeer in that Toro Rosso. Not the cleanest lap so far from him, as Kong has started his lap as well. We'll need to make sure we go to him. Smokey sitting on the apex, Waste his AI as well, so is that going to get out of the way of Joe? I don't think it is. It does eventually on the apex, so Waste needs to un-AI himself, because he's going to have some front runners coming at him, and we're going to go with Kong now to see if he can improve on his lap time. Currently a 10th up as well, so he's finding time in that Mercedes. So Kong looking quick. I'll also be the next car across the sector split. He's a 10th up as well, but not enough for Alistair. Definitely be wanting to get close to that mark, so we'll keep switching between the two drivers to see the sector split times, to see if these guys can improve on their lap times, or if anyone can get close to Kong Hofner. Down the gears goes the Merc, so he's coming up to this split now. He's currently lost time, he's now down, so he's lost, he's not down by much, but he is down a tad, and also will now be the next car across that split for the fight for pole. He comes, he's 5 tenths up now, so Alistair is finding the time, so this could be quite close between these guys. And here comes Colin around the final sector. They're meant to do the racing on the track, not racing for pole, but that's what we're getting at the minute. And here comes Kong then round the final corners. The double left-hander, does he improve on his lap? No, he doesn't. So Alistair now the car to watch. Can he stick that Renault anywhere near pole position?
No, I think that's invalidated his lap.
He's giving it absolutely everything. Pole!
Oh, it did!
35.6 from him. And what a lap time that is from the Renault. That's incredible. As just as I said, no one was going to beat him.
Wow.
Alistair has gone and found a second, because John said Alistair was matching the times he was doing in the sweat. That is some lap time from him.
It looks like, from my camera angle, he cut the last corner, but as Softy will say, spectator cams are wrong.
Also, just a tip for you, Phil. On the track map, if the track map goes red, it's invalidated.
Good point.
Yeah. Here comes Dexter next across the line. P5. Jordan goes third at 135.8. It's only 2 tenths off these guys, so he's got some pace in that racing point as well. Joe will be disappointed with 6th, though. He could have had the chance, but I think Waste validated him. So that is the qualifying order. No one else on lap. Actually, Kong's going again, and it's 2 tenths up.
Oh.
Kong's going again, so he could take this from Alistair here. After saying he got pole position, he's going to run out of battery though. And possibly his fuel light's not even on, so maybe fueled for 2 runs. Here he goes, and can he retake it from the Renault? Round the penultimate corner. He does. Improves by 1/10 of a second to take it back off the Renault. Now that is an impressive lap time from the Merc. I thought Alice's lap time was quick to dislodge Kong Hofner, but Kong had more in the bag. And then Joe's got a penalty as well with a collision with Smokey, so especially not good for him, and he'll have to start on the worn tyres as well. But there is then the rundown, and I'll hand it over to Phil for it, so I can get a drink.
So thank you. In the standing after qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix, Kong Hofner on pole position, only by a tenth though to Alistair in second, Jordan in third, 3/10 behind. So the top three looking like they're in a class of their own. Smokey G's didn't really set a better lap time there. He did spin on his final run. He starts fourth though. Ilar Dexter in fifth. Joe Sayer qualified at sixth, but will not start sixth with his 5 place grid penalty. And that's as far as I got because the screen went off.
Indeed, I believe we have another message in the chat. What a qualifying battle from Jean. So hello to Jean-Luc Taylor. Missed a few races this season due to work. Me and Jean, a key worker. Yeah, me and Jean are the key workers, so we still have to work face to face with people during this pandemic, which isn't great. So yeah, I hope I don't get the Rona, because that would be nice, because then I couldn't be here doing this. But the final driver's now doing their final checks to make sure everything is in order for the Singapore Grand Prix. Here we go then. Final drivers giving their engineers. Mike Noon's also in. Drama Llama from Mike Noon. Well, he actually said drama, but Drama Llama, because why not? But here we go. Lights are coming on in Singapore. It's the same front row we had in Spain. 5 lights. And they are out. And there's lights out, and away we go. I said that twice, didn't mean to do that. And Alistair now, I believe, has got a good start, but Kong matched it. Jordan now looking to find his way past the Renault, going into turn 1, 2 and 3. Alistair losing a bit of the rear. That's going to allow Jordan in. But these two are side by side. This is where Sainz and Hulkenberg came together as well. And also then coming out ahead on that and keeping P2. So now it is the run down into the first sector split. But Jordan now on the back of the Renault is going to try and move on Alistair. Alistair not going defensive, maybe thinking Jordan isn't going to go for it. And indeed he doesn't. So clean racing from these guys. They're actually getting very close to Smokey. I believe they made a bit of contact, as you can see. All the cars now filing through. But a very clean first couple of corners, Phil.
Indeed it was. There was not a whole lot of bumping and boring. There's a yellow flag in the background.
Michael Kenny.
Yeah, okay, so there was a little bit of argy-bargy, but I didn't see anyone really lose any front wing. So a nice clean start here. Again, TGP2 showing TGP1 boys how to do a first lap.
Indeed, they are very clean from these guys, but Jordan now still on the back of Alistair. He tried to find his way past in the early stages of the lap, but couldn't quite do it. Alistair fighting hard and holding on to second place. Obviously everyone within a second of each other due to it being the start of the Grand Prix. We've got Baza now on the back of Marco. He's also got Dom and Jacko for company as well. Chris has left the session as Northern Angus found his way past Sir Tom Penguin, still finding his feet on the F1 game. We've got the two Alphas as well in 6th and 7th, but Kong starting to extend his lead at the front. 0.8 of a second for Kong Hofner even. Be interesting to see how everyone reacts, whether we get a safety car or not. But the two Alphas then, now this is Mike Noon. It doesn't matter if you're his teammate or not, he's not going to play nice.
Absolutely not. Also, worth a reminder, Kong Hofner did do 2 laps on his qualifying, so he's got a lap extra on his set of tyres. So a tyre is a major problem around this circuit, as the two Alphas are about to do battle here.
Did they out down the inside goes Mike Noon, car number 38, flying past car number 22. But Bossman Sean isn't going to give this up either. These two couldn't be in more of a perfect team or more perfect team. It's two very aggressive drivers who do not like being overtaken. Alistair's lost a lot of time to Kong, but again Kong has got all the tyres. Yellow flag into sector 2. I believe there's a Haas off in the background. Not quite sure who that is. I think it is Chris Johnson. It is indeed. But the McLaren's not the start they would have wanted at all.
Oh, Alistair wide coming out of the hairpin there. Jordan does have a chance. Alistair goes to defend there. Jordan doesn't really stay. He's now looking down the inside. Is the move coming on here? Not quite.
I think Alistair knows Jordan not that confident on the brakes, so Alistair doesn't need to compromise his own line. So very good there from these two. I actually missed Alistair going wide, so good spot there from Phelps. Busy watching the Papayas down in 13th and 14th. So again, even Baza down in 11th, not what he would have wanted. Alistair's getting twitchy as well, 2.2 now behind Kong, so really struggling in the race again is Alistair. Definitely qualifying is his strong point at the minute. Definitely wanting to change that as Kong sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 140.4, but I think that was inevitable going on to lap 3. We have now got DRS and it's Smokey as well. It's the same three battling, just not at the front. And for lead Smokey, they're losing the rear.
It was, yeah, Smokey smoking the rear tyres as he comes up there. Mike Noon now on the back of ILR Dexter there, so I think Mike does have a bit of pace here. He's got the DRS, he's moving down the inside. This should, again, his favourite overtaking move. That's two people in the same corner in 2 laps there, so Mike Noon on the move here as we start lap 3.
Definitely is. Mike Noon then had a very good Spanish Grand Prix, so maybe starting to find his feet this season, score some good valuable points. I keep checking to see if anyone has a wing damage as well, because this circuit, very easy to do it, but everyone's still intact at the minute. But it'd be interesting to see if Mike Noon can really get onto the back of these guys, because Mike will be rubbing his fingers seeing all these three battling.
He will do, yes. He'll be hoping they start squabbling a bit more just so he can catch up a little bit. It's only 1.3 seconds though, as Hofner, taking advantage of Alistair having to do a bit of defending, has pulled away another second. Right, coming up another second this lap. 3 seconds is his gap, so dreamland for Hofner here. Alistair fighting hard though. He's got a little bit of a breathing margin over Jordan and Smokey J's 2nd, 3rd and 4th there.
Definitely not great for him though. You really want to be chasing down a car instead of having to check in your mirrors constantly. But still watching Mike Noon as he continues his charge towards these 3 cars, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So Mike definitely on the pace at the minute, and sort of dragging Bossman Sean along with him, and dragging Brandon Feely.
We have a Red Bull in the
well.
pits. Dexter has taken an early pit stop here on the beginning of lap 4.
And has opted for the
mediums. Front wing.
So that will that's why he's made an early pit stop. Jordan now with the DRS on Alistair, but again letting that battery dip under 10%, and you can just see he's not getting the optimal performance out of that car that he needs. Also losing a bit of the rear there, but Jordan needs to work on that ERS management. He's still in mode 4. That's going to give you absolutely nothing. You want to be...
Jose's story across. Jose has made a massive mistake. I bet it's his 2nd mistake this lap. He lost a lot of positions. He's now just rammed into the back of Dom. Misjudged his braking. He's lost back when he's doing 360 spins. He's in a world of pain, Joe.
Well, he got the penalty in qualifying, which we don't know if it was his fault or not, because everyone does love handing out penalties in qualifying if you even go near someone. But yeah, not what he would have wanted. Did qualify 5th, I believe it was in the end, but obviously got demoted down with the penalty and has now completely ruined his race. I think a safety car is the only thing that's going to be saving him at the minute. But everyone sort of spread out, not really going for any moves at the minute. But Mike definitely catching these guys.
Absolutely, Mike's got his radar set on, but sometimes it's better to maybe just
continue, Phil.
So yeah, as I was saying, with quite a few coming in, I think Bossman Sean's getting... Oh, I feel he's trying to go on the outside. Both the Renaults are double stacking. Oh, Bossman Sean's in the wall.
Oh, not what he would have wanted. Not good for him. And I don't think Feely's noticed that his teammate's pitting. Not good for Feely there. Obviously, not so bad for Alison, though. Never got held in the pit lane. So, but VSC as well.
Oh wow!
So that's going to save some drivers a bit of time. Not a lot though. So Alistair was just reacting to Kong as well. Completely missed Kong was in the pits.
Ah, indeed, yes.
So Alistair reacting to the Merc. And the VSC definitely helping the likes of Kong and Alistair maybe close in on Jordan and Mike, because I think it would have helped Alistair a bit more because he still had a bit of pit lane to go. So not too bad for him there, but a VSC, I'm not quite sure what for either.
I completely missed that, yeah. Not sure what for. Drivers taking advantage coming to pit. It is now Green flag racing again here.
He is indeed. Currently watching Kong as he tries to chase down Chris. Now this might help the likes of Jordan and Smokey as well if Kong gets stuck behind Chris. You can see he's been held up there because Kong normally quite quick through there. It'll be interesting to see if Chris just lets him by. Don't see why you would though. And Kong is going to go for it up the inside on Chris's laggy car. I think he's having second thoughts about it, but he is going to find his way past the Haas. But definitely, oh, Kong's round!
Oh,
look, he's got Alistair coming, so he can't. Ah, that was close. Yeah, so Alistair now in a net race lead. So definitely not what Kong would have wanted there. I was actually quite scared in case Kong was actually not going to ghost and come back through. John is saying the VSC must have been for the debris for Bossman Sean. That makes sense. But Jordan staying out.
In the pits there. We've got Mike Noon-Wace and Dom in the pits.
Interesting to see where Mike comes out in contrast to that. So Alistair's just flown past him now, so you can see the time that VSC really helped them. So that's what Alistair's pulled on Mike. What has he pulled on the rest? Mike's actually missed the whole pit exit. Wasn't given a penalty for it though, I don't believe. That was comical, Mike. If you do have the stream on, that was comical. Stick that in your podcast. So Mike Noon then has to find his way past Smokey. Even Smokey's lost time to Alistair as well, but I believe Kong has the pace to close back up to the Renault, who has traffic of Chris and Marco. So even he did find his way past, obviously Kong being spun, but has now got traffic.
Indeed, Chris Johnson proving a formidable roadblock here. Alistair's got to be careful. He doesn't have the same fate as Kong. Oh,
getting very close. He might go for it here. This is where I tried to move on Softy on F1 2016. It's hard to pass a laggy car as well, and Kong is already on the back of these guys.
Just like, oh, there's a Bossman Sean and Wace were getting into Hammer and Tonto. There's some, as they cut to it, there's some debris flying in the back.
Oh, Bossman Sean's at a racing point. Alistair, I think, side by side with Chris. This is where Kong was spun, and Alistair's finding his way past, and he'll be hoping he can maybe hold up Kong a bit because the advantage. Oh! I don't know what to say there. Kong is finding his way past Chris.
Off big style.
So Alistair has to find his way past Marco now. He will fight. He was thinking about it. I think he's just going to wait for the DRS, but this has allowed Kong right up behind these guys as well. So we're going to go watch on board with Kong as these two go side by side, sending the fastest laps of Kong, meaning business. Marco squeezing Alistair to the left hand side, but Alistair pushing the Ferrari off the circuit and finding his way past. Marco, not quite sure who Kong was there, but Kong has found his way past as well. So now we have a net P1 and a net P2 of Alistair and Kong fighting for the lead of this race, which maybe we shouldn't have even been gifted. But Chris, I don't know if it was Chris's lag or Chris genuinely took out Kong, is going to think about the inside on Alistair. He isn't thinking better off it, but Alistair had to get his elbows out in Silverstone when he was being pressured by Smokey and Jordan, and did it, and he knows he could close in on Hofner in both of these races tonight if he gets his elbows out and tries to defend it. And if there's a safety car, Phil, is it worth going on sauce, or is it worth staying out? Because at this point I believe it's worth staying out.
The only person who would benefit from that is Baza, who stayed out. He did start on the medium tyres, so his strategy, although virtual safety car has affected it a little bit, is still kind of in motion. So he might come good towards the end of this race, and Mike Noonan is a beneficiary as well, as there's a Williams parked there.
Yeah, that puts off the Renault as well. Mike has found his way past Marco, so not Michael, good English. Mike still continuing his charge through the field, as Feely as well having to really charge back through to being held in the pits. Still yellow flag in sector 2 or 3, I believe that is for Angel versus Death, but it will be interesting to see. These two have the same tyre life. They did pit on the same lap time. VSC.
Bossman Sean, I think, has binned it.
He has indeed. So this one is definitely for Bossman Sean, but that saves Alistair's bacon for just a little bit longer, and has again a lot more hours than Kong. I think Alistair was very close there to exceeding his delta. He just had to stamp on the brakes a bit.
And Baza will be slightly cursing this, because had that come out a little earlier, he could have pitted and put on the softs and been well within the chance of winning this race. But going back on it, Jordan has lost out big style in this shuffle, as has RR Dexter. They're down to 8th and 9th in this reshuffle. Feely has moved up places, he's up to 7th. Following Mike Newton, making their way through the field quite nicely here.
Still got the VSC, this would have... Oh no! Alistair's been given a drive-through for speeding under the VSC.
Oh,
he's done
no.
a me from Russia.
It runs in the family.
Oh, Alistair, what have you done?
Oh dear, no. He's still got to fight though. He might as well still fight with everything he's got. Position-wise, he'll drop back, but he's got to hope. I mean, this race has kicked off lively here. There's been some panels swapping, so it's worth keeping on going. He might still get a podium out of this, as Smokey Jace now has to defend from Mike New in the battle for 5th place.
Indeed he is. He is going to lose a lot of time though. It's not the shortest pit lane, but it's not Silverstone. So I think he'll be happy with that one. It's not Silverstone.
It's not. It's a slow speed limit though, as Jacko gets out the way to make his.
He's not taking it this time around, so he's maybe trying to extend the gap on the cars behind if they are fighting, which makes sense. He has got 3 laps to serve it, but not what he would have wanted at all. But Kong then, I don't know if Kong will know this, so Kong's still going to go with absolutely everything he has. He's actually been given a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, so it gets worse for him. And here comes Kong. This will be the part where he finds his way past Alistair. He is going defensive, so he is still fighting it. Joel is actually out of the session, side by side the top two. Alistair trying to push Kong off the best he can. Can't do much about it, still on the outside. This is where Russell and Grosjean put it, still side by side these two.
Yes,
not wanting to give this position up on Alistair, just holding on for now, getting his elbows out and showing that he means business in this championship. He might not be top of it, but he's not giving up on it.
That was excellent driving by the pair of them. Gave each other enough space. Great respect between them, the pair of them there.
Fantastic from these two. We still have Mike on the back of Smokey as well. I want to keep panning to that, but Kong keeps trying his attacks on the Renault. Thought about it that time around. I also gave him the room, to be fair. But Smokey again, not Smokey, I keep saying Smokey, but Kong not close enough. Joe has left the session. Now, if that caused a safety car, that would have rubbed salt in the wounds for Alistair, because you can't serve a drive-through under the safety car. It'll be interesting to see if he does take it this lap. It'll be interesting to see.
From the lead.
Baza has pitted from the lead, and Alistair is now serving it, so that does confirm that he has the drive-through. He might come out ahead of Baza, so whenever Baza comes out, he might be... Baza is going to have fresh softs though, and he will just be behind Baza, so not what he would have wanted at all. So that promotes Mike into a podium position, who is under pressure from Feely, who had to queue, remember, as well. So really threw a damper on his race, because he had... Oh, Mike's round!
Oh!
And that's why Mike Noon has not been picking up the points this season. Alistair has come out in P10, so he is still scoring a point as things stand, and I can maybe set sights on the cars in front. But that has really ruined battle for first and second.
It has. So Kong Hoffner now, nice clear track, and pretty much a 6-second gap now to Smokey Jace, who's been let off the hook as Mike Noon takes a spin in turn 3 there. Feely now up into a podium place in the other Renault, so not all doom and gloom for Renault there. Despite the double stack, it's worked out pretty well for Feely here.
It has indeed, and he could even be ahead of Smokey if it didn't, but we're currently watching Baz at the minute on those fresh softs behind Dom Smith. Now Dom is not going to make this easy, but he's also not the hardest car to pass. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes Baza to find his way past, and if these guys keep fighting, it might allow Alistair back in to maybe claim some scraps in this Grand Prix, but that, from Mike Noon, is disappointing.
It is. He'll be livid of himself. That was a podium chance. He's worked so hard as well to claw his way up into that spot. A silly mistake coming out with turn 4 even, I suppose you'd say, in the opening sector there.
Not quite sure if Dom let Baza through though, but Baza has found his way past Dom. I was watching it, but Dom wasn't travelling overly quick, so maybe not up for the fight, as he's actually picked up a 3-second time penalty, has Baza, so that might halt maybe his charge. Also 3 seconds behind Dom Smith, so he'll be looking to catch the Manx man. But Bazalin could possibly get Mike here, because Matt was catching me quite quick as well on the softs. And obviously these guys are all on worn tyres.
And Mike's also got a time penalty, so if Bazza does catch him, it will be a legitimate fight for the position on track.
It will indeed. And Feely's helmet, I'm not feeling that in that Renault. Just no. A bright blue helmet with white in a Renault, it's not really going to go down well. Bazza's found his way past Erlenang. So that's P7 for him, and maybe can he now catch Mike Noon? Alistair's lost 8 tenths to Dom, so pushing too hard has damaged the end plate of that Renault, so now it is just damage limitation for him. Get a point. He could, oh no, never mind. I was going to say he could pit and go for fastest lap, but he would drop outside the top 10. So currently watching Feely now on the back of Smokey. He's got Jordan for company as well. Yellow flag into sector 2.
That is Jacko. He has hit the wall that Moss hit yesterday, which ended his race when he was running P8.
So not good there for Jacko, but like you said, it is all doom and gloom at Renault. Feely then up behind the Haas of Smokey Jace. Now Smokey isn't going to make this easy at all. Not going to. You see it also losing time hand over fist now to Dom Smith. So finishing ahead of Chris, I think, is now the target for him, but not the second race he would have wanted.
Yeah, sorry, and Smokey J seems to be struggling here for pace. I don't know if he's got damage. It doesn't look like it, but he's had people climbing all over the back of him ever since the pit stop. So now it's Feely's turn, and Jordan's come back into this as well. He'll be rubbing his hands together from being 8th position about 3 laps ago. He's now within a chance of 2nd place here.
Here comes Feely though. He's got the slipstream, got the DRS, turning up the battery. Smokey goes to fail. Oh! Did they make contact there? It looked like it. The cars did that weird animation thing where they do make contact and it looks a bit weird. They go all squirrely. But couldn't find his way. But Alistair has decided to pit from his position and will come out on soft, so maybe a late charge for him. And now it's Mike Noon on the wall.
Jones. Oh, not again, Mike Noon. What was looking a positive evening here has turned into an utter disaster. No front wing. Oh,
Feely's found his way past Smokey as well at the hairpin, and Jordan could find his way past both of them. What a launch Jordan got out of that hairpin. And now it's Racing Point Renault side by side, and Jordan has timed that perfectly. So Feely gained a spot, then lost one. Smokey does have damage as well, so that may be that. Oh no, he doesn't. It's just Alistair has now just given up on this Grand Prix. He cannot be bothered anymore.
Oh, Smokey and Feely are still side by side there. Smokey hasn't given this up, but Jordan, ultimate opportunist, has gained 2 places here, up into 2nd place. That's a fantastic recovery drive, you should say, from him there. As Smokey is still on the back of Feely, he hasn't quite given this up. Now Feely has just pulled out that gap there, going into the final corner.
Indeed, he has that now. Promotes Chris Johnson into the points. I do believe we'll see Mike into the pit lane. He has nothing on that Alfa Romeo. He is coming in. That is the wise thing to do. Serton Penguin also in the pit lane for him.
There could still be a point on offer for Mike here. He would have to get his head down, but Marco will be probably about 10 seconds in front. Marco's not running quick. He's got damage as well himself, so there is still potential for a point for Mike here.
And a fastest lap point as well.
Indeed, yes.
Low fuel, fresh softs, and a bit of DRS maybe from Marco. Mike has now left his pit box. Marco came in as well.
So Mike definitely, he just needs to now maintain.
Take it home, yeah.
Yes.
So lap 13 out of 15 in this Grand Prix then. Smokey dropping back a bit now from Feely, who's dropping back a bit from Jordan. So everyone's starting to space out a bit. Erlenang is starting to catch Dom though. It's the closest battle on circuit at the minute at 6 tenths. The gap.
Dom did overtake Erlenang going into coming out the first DRS zone into the left hander. A little robust move. I did catch it, but
oh, Bazza's in the wall.
Oh my goodness!
He's lost his front, pretty much the whole front left off that Red Bull, and you can just see it there. He's got absolutely nothing. I think Dom actually came close to hitting him, if not did. Bazza's now in the other wall, so not good for him at all, because this was meant to be fresh softs to the drive, and I think he's now lost. No, I think he might be retiring from this Grand Prix.
He shouldn't do, because the rate of attrition here, there are still points on offer. We're down to 14 runners, so Tom Penguin is unfortunately 50 seconds behind 13th man Jacko, who's pretty close to Marco, but there's a massive gap there between Mike and Waste, so there are still points available. It is still worth changing that front wing and keeping on going.
And his day gets from bad to worse as he picks up a speeding in the pit lane. But Smokey's picked up a 3 second time penalty as well, so that could put him behind Dexter, who's only 2.8 seconds behind Smokey, and has been slowly catching the other Danish driver. It's been interesting to see what Dexter could do, but Kong doing what Alistair did last season, apart from being taken out, not looking back and controlling this race when not being taken out.
He is, but people who are keeping their nose clean are benefiting here. Now, Dexter has kind of kept out of trouble. He's probably a bit disappointed being in fifth. His pace probably suggests he could have been fighting maybe for a podium, but he's kept out of trouble. He's in fifth place. Dom in sixth, again, kept out of a majority of trouble. Could be picking up a stack of points here from McLaren, especially after the first race tonight went terribly wrong there. Chris Johnson, despite his troubles earlier as well, is in 8th place, picking up 3 points potentially at the moment.
Yep, Dom's race was already better than last season's. Was spun at turn 1, lap 1 at the start of the Singapore Grand Prix last season. But so some drivers having better Grand Prix than last season, and some having absolutely abysmal ones, from speeding under the VSC, taking after his big brother. Woo. Even now I look back at that, I should have won Russia. I'm fuming. But anyway, this is TGP2. Yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. It's for a racing point, I believe. It's Waste.
I think Waste is just crawling around,
letting these guys by. He's getting away a bit there of Feely and just going straight on, so that might be the end of Waste's race. Was fighting for the wooden spoon, but Dexter, even with the front wing damage, still raking in Smokey J, so might beat him on the circuit. But this is currently the closest battle on track with a 1.4 second. Mike, as I would say, set the fastest lap, but that's not what the notification was, unless it did pop up and I missed it. But if he's going for fastest lap, well, he'll go for it now. I can check on here. Fastest lap currently going to Mike. Yes, a 139.2. So it did. It did pop up, but obviously you got rid of that notification for me because decided to go track wandering. But then Dexter on the back of Smokey, but I'm going to have to go to Kong. Well, he took pole when everyone thought he had lost it. He took the race win when everyone else thought he lost it. Kong Hofner, superb in Singapore, making up for that poor Grand Prix in Spain. It will be Jordan in second. He'll be happy with that, getting 2 cars in one straight. Feely, after being held up in the pit lane, could be very happy with P3, but it could have been more. Smokey will finish 4th on the road, but demoted to P5 as Dexter taking it. Other than found his way past Dom Smith at some point as well.
Dom Smith hit the wall, or has he run out of
fuel? He's also out of fuel. Dom is out of fuel.
He owes me £5 for that one.
So that's another fiver you won't see. Be interesting to see if Chris beats him though, because I believe Dom had a penalty. He did.
He does. Oh, I get
so 12 seconds behind, running out of fuel has now cost him. Mike will be disappointed, but it is still points and a fastest lap point as well. And I think Baza again is the big loser out in all of it, and he's actually not put it in the wall. He was close though, very close. Mike's got ahead of Dom.
Oh my goodness.
So even more points for him. Baza's picked up another penalty who's got ahead of Dom.
Dom? What? It says Dom's a lap down here on my screen.
Yeah. So this might not be your order. It might be. We'll find out eventually.
Marco's also run out of fuel.
Well, if you're going to do it somewhere, at least you have an excuse here. It is a long lap. That is your Singapore Grand Prix. Oh, Dom's glitched, says Jean. So
right, okay.
he will. He might be behind Chris, but that'll be probably the best of it. There is your podium. Dominant display from Kong. Was facing the wrong way at one point and still wins the race. Maybe the wrong Renault in Parc Fermé, Alistair would say, but he's got to be happy for his teammate. And Jordan then, another, was it second place for Jordan? So 2 P2s for him. But yeah, that was the 2 races from this evening. Dom didn't finish 12th, so do not pay attention to that. And yeah, so that has been Singapore. Join us next week when it is Hungary and France. I don't know if I'll be here, but I'm sure if I'm not, Phil might do it again. But yeah, that has been Singapore, and we'll see you all next week.